Have you ever considered like the words you speak? Could they be actually shaping your reality? It's a powerful idea, right? And today we're going to deep dive into this motivational video, and it explores using spoken decrees to attract abundance. So we'll break it all down and look at the science behind it, and we'll see if there's anything practical we can take away, even if, you're a bit skeptical at first, like me.
I think what's so fascinating about this video is how it kind of taps into this concept that's like both super ancient but also really modern, It's like the idea that words have power. This idea is all over spiritual traditions around the world, but it's also like getting more attention now in stuff like psychology and neuroscience.
Yeah, for sure. So this video just jumps right in, and it says that the words we speak have energy, and they can actually influence our lives. And it's giving me like big manifesting vibes, but with a bit of a twist.
Yeah, exactly. And the twist here is this focus on spoken decrees. Like, it's not just about, thinking positive thoughts. It's about actually saying them out loud, almost like a command to the universe.
Okay, interesting. And the video is very clear. You got to ditch all that negative self-talk, the I can't, it's impossible stuff. It's all about switching it up with these positive decrees. Is there like any actual science to back this up?
There's some really interesting research out there about the power of self-affirmation, and studies show that if you repeat positive statements about yourself, it can actually reduce stress hormones and even make you perform better on tasks. It's like you're really rewiring your brain for success.
Wow, that's pretty crazy. It makes you kind of think twice about how you talk to yourself. I know even just little things like instead of saying I'm terrible at this, saying I'm learning can totally change my mood.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's about moving from like this fixed mindset to a growth mindset, and the language we use plays a huge role in that.
Okay, so let's get to the core of it. What is this powerful decree that's supposed to like unlock all this abundance? The video has this specific phrase in Spanish. Dios quiere dármelo. No hay nada que me impida lograr esto, porque si Dios quiere que lo tenga, entonces es mío.
And that translates to, God wants to give it to me. Nothing can stop me from achieving this, because if God wants me to have it, then it's mine.
Okay, wow. There's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
It's bold. It's faith-based. It's definitely meant to make a statement.
And that's exactly the point. It's supposed to be this powerful affirmation that like tackles your self-doubt head on and gives you this deep sense of belief. And if we break it down, we can actually see some key psychological things at work here.
Okay, let's do that. So where do we even begin?
Well, first, it acknowledges a higher power, which can be super comforting and provide like a sense of support. It's like, you're not in this alone,
Right, so it's kind of setting the stage with this idea that you're not just relying on your own willpower. There's something bigger backing you up.
Exactly. And then it goes on to say, like, nothing can stop me. And that's eliminating self-imposed barriers. And this is all about fostering a sense of agency, and empowerment. It's shifting that focus from the obstacles to your ability to overcome them.
Oh, that's interesting how it flips the script, right? Instead of focusing on what might hold you back, it's like you're just shutting down those doubts before they even start.
Exactly. And finally, it says, if God wants me to have it, then it's mine. So that's asserting ownership. And that part helps cultivate a feeling of deservingness, which is so important for attracting abundance. It's about truly believing you're worthy of what you want.
Okay, so kind of like this three-pronged approach. It brings in that sense of support, gets rid of this self-doubt, and then builds this belief that you actually deserve to have abundance. But how does the video say you should actually use this decree?
Well, the video says, make it part of your daily routine, repeat it at certain times like morning and night, and also combine it with visualization. The idea is to really get it into your subconscious.
So it's like creating a positive feedback loop, like you're constantly feeding your mind this belief and this vision.
Exactly. And these techniques aren't just for this specific decree. They're actually really common practices in mindfulness and goal-setting strategies. And the idea is that by repeating and visualizing, it helps line up your subconscious with your conscious goals.
The video also really emphasizes aligning your actions with the decree. So it's not just like saying the words and then, boom, expecting a miracle, right? You actually got to do the work.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's not like a free pass or something. Putting in the effort is still super important. And this is where I think, just relying on the spoken decree, it has its limits, like positive thinking and believing in yourself. That's all powerful stuff, but it can't just replace like actually taking steps toward your goals.
Yeah, it reminds me of that saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. But what if, there's no fishing rod or the river's all polluted?
That's a great point. It really highlights how we need to think about both like individual empowerment and also the social conditions that can create these barriers for people.
So it seems like the decree could be a good way to kind of shift your mindset, but it's not like some magic solution. And it's important to, be aware of those limitations.
For sure. And we also have to remember that this decree is, it's pretty specific to a certain belief system.
Yeah.
That reference to God, it might really resonate with some people, but for others, it's not going to be relevant at all.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for someone who, doesn't connect with that belief system, can they still get something out of these, like, underlying principles?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The core ideas here about positive self-talk and getting rid of those self-imposed limitations and owning your desires, those are universal, right? They can be adapted to fit any belief system or worldview.
That's a good point. It's not about just copying the exact words. It's about understanding the psychology behind it and then, applying those principles in a way that works for you.
Right, exactly. It's about finding what speaks to you and using those tools to empower yourself.
Okay, so for our listeners out there who are maybe thinking, okay, this is interesting, but the whole God wants to give it to me thing isn't really doing it for me. Are there, other ways to approach this?
Oh, yeah, tons. There are so many different ways to develop an abundance mindset. Some people find affirmations that focus on self-worth and potential really helpful, like saying stuff like, I'm capable of achieving anything I set my mind to, or, I deserve abundance in all areas of my life.
Yeah, those are some great examples. And it doesn't just have to be, saying affirmations out loud, right?
Nope, not at all. Visualizing, practicing gratitude, even doing kind things for others, all that can help you feel more abundant and fulfilled.
So it's really about finding what works for you personally and making those practices a part of your daily life. But could, focusing too much on belief actually make people blame themselves if things don't go as planned?
That's a really important question. We have to be careful, not to oversimplify things. Success and abundance, they're complicated. There's lots of factors involved. And saying it's all about a lack of belief, well, that might ignore some of the systemic barriers or just circumstances that are, totally out of a person's control.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance for sure.
Yeah.
Because taking responsibility for yourself is important, but also acknowledging that there are external factors and pushing for positive change, that's crucial too. It's not one or the other.
Exactly. And remember, this is a journey, not a destination, right? There's going to be ups and downs. The important thing is to keep cultivating that belief in yourself and your ability to create the life you want.
That's a great point, and it leads us perfectly into our final thought for today. We've been exploring these spoken decrees and looking at the psychology behind them, and we've talked about some other approaches too. But now imagine, what if you could design your own decree for abundance? What would that look like?
That's a really powerful thing to think about. It's like crafting your own personal mantra for success, something you can say to yourself every day to stay focused and keep that motivation up. So think about what beliefs and values you really want to embody, what qualities you want to cultivate in yourself, and your personal decree. It should reflect those things.
It's about tapping into your own wisdom and creating something that really empowers you to live the best life you can. And it doesn't even have to be about material abundance, right?
Right. It could be about attracting love or having good health or finding creative inspiration or anything really that makes you feel abundant and fulfilled. Abundance, it's such a big concept. It's about way more than just money.
So to all our listeners out there, we want to hear from you. What would your personal decree for abundance be? Tell us what you think, share your experiences, and if you have other perspectives, let us know in the comments.
And hey, if you thought this deep dive was insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone who you think might find it helpful.
Thanks for joining us as we explored the power of words and how to create a life full of abundance. And until next time, keep exploring, keep believing, and keep building the life you want. Yeah. So what would that look like for you? What words would you pick? What would your personal decree for abundance be?
Oh man, that's a tough one. I mean, it really is like creating your own personal motto, something you'd use to, pump yourself up and stay on track. I think for me, it'd be about those beliefs and values, this stuff you really want to live by.
Yeah.
And the qualities you want to develop. So your decree, it should reflect all that.
That makes sense. It's about like tapping into that inner voice and then, using it to create a statement that gives you that power to live your best life. And it doesn't have to be just about material things, right? Like money and stuff.
Oh, definitely not. It could be about finding love or, staying healthy or even like getting that creative spark going. Anything that makes you feel like really full and abundant in life, right? Because abundance, it's a big idea. It's so much more than just, being rich.
Totally. So for everyone listening, we want to know, what about you? What would your personal decree for abundance be? Tell us in the comments. Let's hear your thoughts and experiences. And, if you have a different way of looking at this, we want to hear that too.
And hey, if you found this deep dive, helpful or interesting, please do all that good stuff, like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone who you think might, get something out of it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us, everyone. It's been great exploring the power of words and, figuring out how to create that life full of abundance. So until next time, keep exploring, keep believing in yourself, and keep working towards that life you really want.